Hey, everybody. Welcome to Inside the Perimeter Roof and Renovate. We're here going to have another great show. This is our 9th episode, and we got a special guest with us today, Jacob Boone. He's our one of our newest additions at Perimeter, and just excited to hear a little bit about his story this morning. Also got my lovely wife and the VP of our company, Patricia, and we got Joe, my sidekick.
As always,
is going to keep us on track today and make sure we have a great convo. Yeah. So what do we got, Joe?
Well, we're going to kick off with Jacob here, guest of honor today. I'm going to find out everything about him, all the dirty secrets.
Oh,
no, just kidding. No, we want to get to know you, Jacob.
What do you sign up for?
You're about to find out. We want to just learn a little bit more about you, your background, how you came to Perimeter. I think the biggest thing is you've told us is you've come from a church background and in ministry, and want to see what that transition from that world to what it's like working in the marketplace. So I'll just kind of let you take away to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I'm Jacob. I've been with Perimeter for a couple months now. Before that, I was doing full-time church ministry as a youth pastor. Had been doing that kind of part-time for about 6 years and then full-time for the last 2. And then, just started wrestling with the Lord of, hey, Lord, what is it that you want my life to look like and to go after? And how can I be, honestly, a big question that I was asking myself was, hey, how can I be the most effective and efficient to build, grow, and serve your kingdom? And as I continue to ask and wrestle with that, he just continued to lay on me a heart to reach people outside of the church, which, I mean, the church is great at, but also there's a lot of people who will never step foot in the church. A little bit about my backstory. I didn't grow up in a Christian household or a church background. Kind of hit a low point in my life in my, right after high school, maybe early 20s, and, decided, let me try out this Jesus thing. He came in, he radically changed my life, met me in my lowest moment. And I kind of just, I jumped all in after that. I experienced how Jesus can really transform someone. And so I thought, hey, why would I not go full time into the church, and pursue that, pursue him, pursue ministry, help other people experience that as well. So yeah.
That's great. So tell us a little about what were you doing in the church? You found out, hey, I want to chase after God and his heart and his desires. What did you start doing? Like, what was the first step after that?
Yeah, I mean, the first start was go to church.
That's always a good.
That's
good
a
start.
good step.
Yeah, like I had been, a couple times young, and then in high school, or middle school, I had a girlfriend. We hung out at youth group or whatever, but never really took it seriously. Didn't know that you could actually have a relationship with Jesus. Nobody had ever explained that to me. I'd never experienced that. I would say I'd never experienced, even heard about or talked about really the Holy Spirit other than kind of just this tertiary, I think that's the right word, presence maybe, or, kind of off in the distance that, people are kind of like, I don't know what to do with that, or don't talk about it enough. And then so I started going to church. I experienced God, Jesus, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and was kind of also still processing life at that point. I had went to community college twice, dropped out both times, worked like 60 hours a week for a year, and thought, what am I, kind of just trying to figure things out as a young person, kind of off on my own. And my church launched a 1-year ministry school where you got to be doing classes, but also doing ministry. And so I got plugged into the youth ministry, the high school ministry there. I had already been serving in the kids ministry from another connection from my job that had kind of invited me to come and serve on like an Easter Sunday, because, our church has a lot of college kids and they were all gone. And so kind of I'd been doing camp ministry even before that, and so I kind of have a heart for kids and for students. And so I was doing student ministry all the way from, I think I was a first grade small group leader. That was my first role, all the way to I graduated. I was a 12th grade small group leader. I was a high school kind of production and setup leader when we were a portable church. And then all the way to leading even prayer groups, prayer teams, student leadership teams, preaching. Just kind of did a little bit of everything. Once I got in there, at one point I was the kids worship director. You
can sing?
Wow.
That's debatable if I can sing or not. There was a lot more choreography involved, actually.
Oh, so you dance?
You sing and dance?
We don't have to talk about that. I don't want the workers.
That wasn't on your resume. So
I don't want our coworkers to start making fun of me.
So Trish and I used to be youth leaders back in the day, and we know that youth leaders can actually create more issues than right, because when you're young, you can be troublemakers. So tell us the truth, like. You gave us like all the highlights, but what really happened here?
I don't know if I should say all that stuff on the microphone, but no, a lot of really good stuff. It kind of gave me a sense of belonging and even wanting to grow and improve myself because I had, a flock of young people to shepherd, to grow, to help, to serve, to love. My background was very much not Jesus. And so, if you're thinking about what a life with Jesus looks like, well, just think about the opposite of that. And that's kind of where I was at up until my 20s. And so, I had lived both lives at a certain point. And so I got to just tell him, hey, why chase after the things of this world? Because chasing after a relationship with Jesus it's just going to fulfill you unlike anything this world has to offer. So
probably made you more relatable and gave you credibility, right, to speak into something that you had experienced, to say, hey, I've tasted this and it's not so great. It leaves you empty. Here's something better.
Yeah, honestly,
right? So
the hard part for me sometimes was how to help disciple the younger generation that had grown up in the church. So, I mean, there's one kid that, man, I love him to death, but that, he was kind of raised in the church, but had decided at a young age, I don't want anything to do with Jesus, and had gotten into the wrong crowds and, different stuff like that. I was one of the only people that he could relate to, because, he didn't feel like he fit in with the culture of the majority of the students his age. Cause he had just experienced some things that, not a lot of the other kids had.
So your journey from thinking or desiring to be in full-time church ministry to now being in the marketplace, you're working at a construction company and you're offering solutions to homeowners. So, I think that a lot of people in their 20s, right, are processing some of these same things. Hey, what does my life look like, and what am I supposed to be doing with my life? And I think a lot of people, including myself, went through, the thought of, hey, I want to be in full-time church ministry because in my mind, I have concluded that this is what it looks like to be a superstar Christian. If I'm not on the stage at church, then I haven't arrived, right? But I think, some of that is because of our Western culture and the way that church works.
Yeah, totally.
And so it's like, they've got smoke machines now and lights and, it's like, hey, and a lot of people want to be the center of attention, and we think we're doing it for Jesus, but there's mixed motives there. And so God has this perfect plan for each person. And you and I, if you recall, when you and I met before you came on, we processed this a little bit.
Yeah.
You were saying, hey, I thought God wanted this for my life.
Yeah.
But he closed the door. And so now I'm trying to figure out what is he asking me to do?
Yeah, this is a totally out of left field, something I hadn't considered until the door was opened, right?
Exactly. And so here you are.
Yeah, here I am.
Right? You made the switch.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how you've processed that switch, right?
Yeah.
Mentally, you were like, hey, I thought I was going to be doing this, but now I'm doing this. Sometimes I think people make the mistake of, oh, well, I didn't make it to that level of ministry, so now I've just got to work.
Yeah, or just kind of fall into what's second best, or
right.
Yeah.
So we know that's not true.
Yeah, totally.
at least for me, again, I didn't know you super well before you came on, but I feel like, I feel like you're a genuine person. Like you are who you are. You're not two different people. And so even I've seen you at Perimeter be vocal about your relationship with the Lord and talk about Jesus. Tell us a little bit, like, since you've been on, has there been opportunities to express how you feel in your faith and different things, whether it be with other employees or customers, or how has Perimeter given you the freedom to be you as you work here at Perimeter? Yeah,
that's a great question. I think to just lean into a couple things you said before answering that question is when you have to really do a self-evaluation. Where's your relationship at with Jesus? It's got to be the first thing that you evaluate. Because the truth is, in Western culture, Western church, there's these TikTok famous pastors. There's the mega church pastors with the huge crowds and the, even the great sermons. But I think it's way too easy to go into a place where you experience and encounter Jesus in a radical way. And then you think, man, I've got to be like that guy that has the following, that has the 1,000+ people at their church every Sunday. I've got to be on the stage preaching the sermons. Yeah. When I stepped into a relationship with Jesus and started doing a bunch of stuff in my church and developing in my leadership and my ministry and my relationship with Jesus, I wanted that. I really did. And the Lord in his sovereignty actually kept me from preaching my first official sermon for, 5 years. And in that time I was frustrated because there was other people who were getting those opportunities that I wasn't. And then looking back, man, it was just the Lord's sovereignty of doing a work in me and in my own heart, because if I would have went and preached that first sermon and everybody said, "Oh man, that was incredible," that would have straight to my head, straight to my pride, straight to my ego. I think as a young person, you really have to check that, especially in the church world. Man, I'll tell you what, going from being around ministry workers all the time to construction workers all the time was a big switch. And
it's a different world.
Yeah. And I felt a lot of peace with the Lord with making this move to Perimeter. Even just, knowing you guys the little bit that I did, your heart for Jesus, even, getting to meet more of the team as well. Like my man Joe over here.
Trying to help you.
But we're just going after something a little bit different here. Anyone can do construction. Not everyone can do it well or to code. But there's also a way about doing it. I think a lot of people don't trust naturally. That was a journey for me that.
Are you talking about customers?
I think everyone
in general,
just in general, trust is hard in our society because so many people have been hurt, have broken trust. And that's, if we can't trust other people, we often put that on our relationship with the Lord, and we don't trust him either.
Yeah. A lot of customers come to us with baggage, right? They've either had a bad experience with a different contractor, or their parents had a bad experience. And so they're a little guarded. What is your take on Perimeter and the way that we position ourselves? What our objective is in terms of serving the community and our customers. What's your take on that? I've never asked you this question, but I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. I think it comes down to integrity. It comes down to excellence. It comes down to, a lot of our values.
I was going to say core values. Good job, Jacob.
Collaboration. I
hear you.
Yeah. Got to get some brownie points for the VP while I'm in here today. But honestly, it's, there's people out there in the construction world, in the selling world, that'll, come out and say, "Hey, we're going to sell you this product. It's $20,000, but today for you, I can do it for 12." And if that's the case, that just lacks all integrity to me. So let's lead with our best foot forward, our best product, our best quality, our best value. And yeah, not people don't always see that, but that's the heart. That's the heart. You know, at the end of the day, we're not going to sell you something that isn't going to be a helpful product. You know, isn't going to actually take care of the problems that you're looking for a solution.
So people can trust Perimeter.
Yeah, amen.
100%. I was talking this morning with our leadership team and just kind of driving that point home of we're not just about making the sale, right? Because if we're making a sale, it becomes a transaction. There's no relationship in that. We want to craft a customer experience, and what it takes to do that is rapport and connection and building relationship, right? Because as you do that and you connect with authenticity, with a genuine spirit, with transparency and integrity, character, all those things craft the experience for the customer. And if anything, it even builds trust, because without trust, there's no relationship, right? I was saying that earlier. So we want to be in the business of crafting an amazing customer experience, and it takes a lot of intent and purpose to do that, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just, I mean, people are the greatest asset that we have. And so being that it's a customer, an employee, a friend, it's a great asset. And so you have to steward that with excellence and integrity.
That's a really good point. And it brought a story to my mind, because in my early 20s, I was in sales and right out of college and loved it. Ended up working with a great company. And basically I realized that I was a very transactional thinker. I was bottom line, I was going in, I just wanted the sale. And that was a weakness of mine. I was strong in every other area, but
just making sure
of course.
he puts that out there.
But I remember my boss confronted me on it. He's like, "Hey, you have got to learn how to build rapport and connect with people, because people can see through your desire to just want to make a transaction." And I had to care about other people's stuff. Like, and here I am in my 20s and I'm walking in and talking, 40, 50, 60-year-olds sometimes. And I'm like, what do I have in common with this person? Right. And so, you have to look for ways to connect with people, even when there's a gap.
Yeah.
And so it's really about the heart. Do I really care about people? Or I just care about, achieving my goals and my objectives.
Paycheck.
Right.
Right. And it is a maturity thing, and so I probably lacked some maturity in my early 20s and, made some mistakes along the way. But it's a lesson that I think all of us, some of us had, just depending on personality, the way that we were raised, all those things, I think, influence that perspective and that thinking.
Yeah. And that's the first thing, going back to the experience for the customer. I mean, everybody here at the table has experienced that salesperson that you can smell it the second they start talking. It's all they care about is me and the dollar signs on my face. But when you have a relationship and you go into the home and you say, hey, what are your needs? And you're asking real questions that actually gets to the bottom of what their issues are.
And you listen well.
And you listen. That's all it is, right? Is if you're not listening, you're just blah, blah, blah.
That's right. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Yeah, but I think even in that, like when I'm somebody who, when I come into something, especially brand new, I want to be able to set myself apart and succeed and do really well really quickly. And so I caught myself already like forgetting to be myself and trying to be a salesperson, right? Because, that is my job title, right? That is what the company, has hired me to go out and do. But when I'm not, and, so I want to do that well. And right, there's trainings and there's books and there's seminars that you can learn from and all that stuff. But I think at the end of the day, the best interactions I've had is when I just, again, sit, listen, ask questions, and just be myself. And it can be hard to do that sometimes out there. But I mean, there's also been opportunities where, because one of the questions you ask, hey, how has ministry been played out in the marketplace now? And man, it's funny. Like when you have some training and some development, some background, people just like start to open up to you.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many people I've had like crying in the middle of my sales appointment. Like recently lost a loved one. That's a big one. Maybe it's a insurance claim and, they didn't expect to have to do all this, but now there's a tree that's been through their roof or, there's a hole and, they've got to get the whole roof replaced or just repaired and there's damage on the inside. And so their world has just been flipped upside down and they still got to go to work tomorrow. They still got kids to take care of. They still got food to put on the table. So it's not something they want to worry about. So anytime I can just help take some weight off of somebody else's shoulders by providing them with a solution to.
It's an opportunity to encourage someone. Right. They called us looking for a home solution and they're getting more than that.
Yeah.
They're getting somebody who cares, because we want to care about people. We want to make a difference in people's lives.
Right. And I think that takes, like you said, you being yourself. So a title is a title. It doesn't really define you.
Yeah.
It just defines your role and responsibilities. But who you are that God made you to be and operate in is very different, right? So you gain direction with your responsibility and your title, but your directive is to be who you are, that God made you to be. And because you're creating the space and the time for someone to say, hey, here's an issue that I didn't think about, talking even about, but here I am.
Yeah.
That proves to me that when you make the time and the space for that, that's what builds that connection and that rapport that can actually raise up someone's trust in another human being, which we lack across the board, right? Because there's so much brokenness. Yeah. So we have a responsibility now to say, okay, how do I fulfill my calling as a Christ follower while I'm doing what I've been given to steward? Because you can do both, but there's a line that you constantly have to tote by being obedient to what he's prompting you to do.
Yeah.
Hey, pay attention right now, Jacob. This person is really struggling. Yeah. Don't make it about the sale. Yeah. That'll come. Like when you're obedient to the Lord, he gives you what you need and provides, but you first have to take that step, So I think that's really cool. That you're paying attention to that.
We got to be prepared for the situation, appointment that we're about to go into. But I mean, I think probably more importantly than that is, hey, do we have the presence of God with us in this moment?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times for me, it's just maybe it's turning the radio off on the drive over. Maybe it's sitting in the truck for an extra minute or so, to just pray and talk to the Lord. Hey, Lord, what do you want me to lean into in this situation?
Yeah.
Hey, Lord, help me out because I'm still learning,
Right.
So
yeah, that's good, man. Practicing the presence.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all need to be doing that, right? And we have sometimes, we've got our own stuff that we're dealing with. And that can be a huge distraction.
Yeah.
Right? Can be
Who doesn't?
Yeah. And sometimes we can allow those things to derail us or get us off course. And then we're just sort of like a zombie, right?
Yeah.
We're walking in, we're doing our thing. We're not really thinking anything outside of transaction. And so that's why it's so important to be healthy.
Yeah.
Mentally, emotionally, all those things. And at Perimeter, we're focused on helping everyone develop and be successful both personally and professionally, because personal does impact professional.
Absolutely.
And that's why I think accountability is so huge, and it's one of our core values, because there's constant checking in, constant accountability with, hey, how is your rhythm? What's going on? How can I help support? Like, is there anything you need, et cetera, and that really helps, I think, keep someone in check to make sure that they're not 3 months down the road derailing in such a degree that not only does it affect them, but it affects us as a whole.
Yeah.
So you have to stay ahead of that and be proactive and not be reactive when it's too late, So that requires us keeping a pulse on things and saying, hey, how are you doing? So that you can be effective and successful.
Yeah, and I think it's easy too. I mean, the team and the culture we have, at least on the sales side with all of us, I mean, we can kind of tell when something's off and, hey, like, everything good, before it gets to that point where it's detrimental to yourself and what we're trying to accomplish. So I think it's a good culture we have, and that's a big thing about at Perimeter is, and I think different than a lot of other construction companies, is the culture that we have and how we actually care about each other and willing to help each other out.
Yeah, there can be unhealthy competitiveness in some construction companies.
Yeah.
Especially on the sales team.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
Absolutely.
And so one of the things that I've seen and I've gotten feedback over the years is that I feel like everybody here is for me, and that no one is trying to step on my toes or understep me or steal something from me. And so that's a safe place, although there can be some healthy competition, because that's healthy too.
Absolutely.
So, hey, let's take a turn in the convo. We've got just a couple minutes left. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize how many solutions that we offer, right? They see Perimeter Roofing and they just assume, well, it's a roofing company, but we have expanded, right? We're offering a lot more. Over the years, we've brought on some really great folks, and they have expertise and experience and other things outside of roofing. So, you came in, Jacob, and you were thinking, hey, I'm going to be working for a roofing company, but guess what? Right?
I need to know everything.
Right? Yeah. You're going to be offering siding solutions, gutter solutions, window solutions. We also offer remodeling services, right? We're replacing decks for folks.
Additions.
We're doing all the things.
We can build everything from the ground up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's been,
what you did there.
it's been very easy to learn all that stuff in this short amount of time.
You're being facetious. Yeah. So, we're a one-stop shop, and a lot of people don't know that. But when they find that out, and they, whenever you can find a contractor who you can trust, who can do everything for you and manage everything, it makes that experience so much better for them, because now they're not having to basically work with so many different people.
Yeah.
And we're eager to make Virginia beautiful, right? Like, we want to come in and give your home a facelift, whatever that looks like.
Absolutely.
People, the amount of times I've been out to talk with a homeowner, and I'm sure you've experienced this too. Hey, I need my roof. It's leaking, whatever the case may be. And you're walking around. You're like, hey, have you thought about your gutters? These look pretty old. Or, hey, the siding's fading. Or, hey, you got a broken window. Is this something you want me to help fix? And they're like, oh, I didn't know you guys did that. Mm-hmm. And that's been probably my favorite conversation to have with a homeowner, is like, hey, I can actually help get you all of these things done at a timely fashion and a great product, and leave you happy and transforming your house at the same time.
Past experiences dictate the fact that a customer is more than happy to deal with one contractor that can handle all those trades with confidence, right? And the commitment to what we offer and do, versus a lot of them that have such different timelines and ways of doing things, and fragmented communication, and things kind of get, lost. And so I think we have an advantage, when it comes to that. Yeah. And so it helps the customer overall, and it helps us. Yeah. It's a benefit.
I had someone explain it to me. It's kind of like, if you had a grocery store that didn't offer everything. It's like, okay, I got to go over to get my milk from my milk guy, my meat from my butcher, and then my produce from the local market. It's like that takes up too much time. It's too much to hassle to manage when you can go to the grocery store, Kroger, even your local places, and get everything you need at one spot.
Absolutely.
That's a great example.
Yeah. It's convenient.
That's so good. So this has been a great convo. Jacob, thank you for joining us, man. This was good, getting to know you a little bit more. And, we'll have a conversation about some of the things you said after.
Philip's just being silly.
There were some secrets that you shared with us that I didn't know. And so we're going to have to, have to get you going.
I've been waiting for that.
You forgot to mention you're married to a beautiful wife.
Oh, yeah.
And you have a beautiful little girl.
That's when you say I was saving the best for last.
Yeah. You can
give him a
you
shout
didn't ask
out.
That question, but yeah.
You can give him a shout out over the air.
Tell us about your family.
So shout out. So Michaela is my beautiful wife. She, she's even been one of the most helpful and beneficial people outside of Jesus and my spiritual.
She's a beautiful human being.
So yeah,
grounded.
She's,
and you have 4 kids, right?
So I actually have 2.
Okay.
So I got another kid on the way.
Wait.
So podcast exclusive.
No way.
I'll probably,
Does your wife Does your wife know that you've shared this?
No,
Is that
no,
okay.
she doesn't.
Okay.
You might want to,
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Well, congratulations.
Some people know.
We'll send her the link to the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. They got to get it out somehow.
It'll take a while for this to kind of be fully, out, and so it'll give you time.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have a Facebook post before then or so.
That's so good, man.
Congratulations.
That's exciting. Congrats.
But we got a 13-month-old girl, and then we got another little on the way. So
very good, man.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
be praying for us. Be praying for me. I'm out here.
It's just one other reason to work harder.
Yeah, exactly. They got me now.
Yeah,
they got me now.
Well, thanks for listening in. For all of you on the outside, this is Inside the Perimeter Roof and Renovate. Until next time, we'll talk to you then.